Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we take a look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
We got so many goddamn patrons, Joe. This is an awful problem to have, but a great problem at the same time.
I love when people give us $5. And I know $5 is less because of inflation, but like it's still always going to be 5 smackers.
I mean, there's that inflation angle, but there's also the massive, like, anti-worker squeeze that's going on worldwide, so that every dollar a worker has that is not in the hand of a Murdoch child is like a miracle. And people are giving 5 of them to us.
Yeah, so thank you, and we're going to get through a list of wonderful people.
Okay, there's a fucking ton, so I'm going to go a little bit fast. Sorry if you expected me to give you a funny gag about your name. I probably still will. Our first one's Menon. Menon! Just one word, like share. Menon.
Thank you, Menon.
Your next one, oh ha ha ha, oh wee hee hee. Oh, Joe, this one's a funny name. Literally, it's funny name. Get it?
Oh, that's pretty good. And funny names, $5 spend just as good as anyone else's dollars, right?
Yep. Next up is Jameson Herman. Jameson Herman. Thank you very much. I said your name is Herman.
I believe that is a mutual on Twitter. See, posting can get you $5.
It can get you $5. Next up is Eddie. I know who Eddie is. Eddie is a homie who got his Twitter stolen by crypto guys. Like, if you go to his old handle, it's like, get a ape. Go to our ape event. And, like...
He's, like, hawking slurps. How many slurps per ape?
And I'm just like, wait, they, like, stole it? And he's just like, yeah, I can't get it back. That's Elon's new regime, baby. Next up is Jesus. The Time Space Baby.
It's cool that a baby can hit $5 because it's got hustle.
It's got hustle. It has time and space powers. Those are the two most powerful powers, time and space. Next one up is going to be Flynit. Flynit, thank you for $5.
Thank you.
Next is Andrew Donovan. No jokes to be made. That's a very normal name. Easy to pronounce, too.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, another normal name. It's always morally correct to give Anime Sickos money. I agree.
That's a fucking good name for a podcast.
That's our spin-off show. Next up is Maria. Maria, thank you for $5.
Thank you, Maria.
Next up is Goggle Child. Maybe Goggle Child and Time and Space Baby are friends.
Goggle Child is the Digimon kid.
Oh, shit. No, you're right. Okay. Thank you, Goggle Child. Next up is going to be Erica Goodwin. We have a lot of Ericas in our fan base. I love it.
It's a solid name. Thank you.
Can always use more. Thank you. Next up, here's a name we couldn't use more of. Smegma Sommelier.
That is one of my mutuals, so that's another good $5 from posting.
Hell yeah.
And I know this because you don't forget that fucking name.
You sure don't. This one, okay, this is based on some running joke in the Anime Sickos Discord that I think I missed something about. Remember Jimble? He was the guy who took us to told us about the Dune Rats show.
Yeah.
That we went to.
Yeah.
So apparently, when Jimble patronized us, he didn't use his screen name Jimble. He used his real name. So we didn't say Jimble. And there's I guess some running gag on the Discord server where they just go, "I'm Jimble. That's Jimble," and they love it. I don't get it at all.
I said that's Jimble for no reason, just because I was trying to fit in. I think.
Yeah, I mean that's how I am with all slang, dude. That's why I say I fear now.
I fear. Jimble has the success mindset thing where he likes to take the same pose in every photo that I do. We're of similar brains on that front.
That's pretty good. I had an idea. What if there was a guy who didn't understand I fear as it is used in slang and thought it was just a way to casually talk about how you have anxiety. It's like, I'm going to dinner tonight. I fear. It's two separate things.
Just open-ended fear.
Yeah, I didn't post it because there wasn't a pithy way to put it, but I used the joke now, so that I feel good. Anyway, all this is to say is that this next patron is Jimble Fan 2000. This is someone who's trying to get me to say Jimble on the podcast. Jimble, I said it.
I'm worried about this rising prominence of this Jimble faction that might overthrow us.
I mean, that was why we took so long to open a Discord. It's like, oh, you want us to give you a little area to plot against us? No, thank you. And now they're doing it. Next up is going to be Daniel Morgan. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
And finally, Josh Hansen.
Normal name, thank you.
That's all of our new patrons. We got a lot of new patrons because we have a funny new Yu-Gi-Oh series that we're doing that's Patreon exclusive that you can go to and listen to if you go to patreon.com/AnimeSickos. But that's all for that. Let's do the fucking actual episode. If you didn't care about that Patreon shit, I apologize. Anyway, Joe, if you're a old head, if you've been listening to Anime Sickos since the beginning, if you've listened to all 153 previous episodes, you know what the terms I'm about to say are. But let's define them for maybe if this is someone's first time.
For review.
Yes. Joe, we often talk about the toilet. Now, what we mean when we say the toilet, specifically drinking from it.
Yes, the toilet and drinking from the toilet is the act of being online. The best you're doing, no matter your best efforts, you're just splashing around in the toilet with a bunch of other people. That's all it is.
You stick your head down there. Are you going to find something good? Extremely no. Does that stop you? Also no.
But like the issue is when you walk away from the toilet, you're just like, well, I wonder what's happening at the toilet.
You can't stop. Okay, that sounds good. That's the toilet. We all know about the toilet. And Joe, another thing that we all know about is the blood machine. Now, what's that? What's that blood machine all about?
I'll tell you what it isn't, which is a metaphor. It's real.
Yes.
The blood machine is a device that extracts blood from the world. And the thing is, it's immortal. It is not powered by anything. It's like scissors, but it's there to extract blood from every aspect of life.
You can't unplug it. You can't turn it off. And in fact, Joe, you're using a sort of metaphorical term when you say extract blood, because in a sense, like, does it take blood away from the world and put it inside of it? Yes. So in that sense, it does extract blood. But that sort of gives it an agency and an active role in what's happening, which it doesn't actually have.
It's not doing anything with this blood. It doesn't have a plan. It's not like a vampire. It just likes to have it slosh uselessly around inside of it and then drain onto the floor.
Yeah, and notably, in order to get the blood, like someone who's not the machine, like has to get it and bring it to the machine.
And those are the stewards. The stewards of the machine. The people who say you got to fire everybody.
Yeah.
The people that say your job will be replaced by AI.
You'd think, why would anyone do this? Why would anyone take this thankless task? Well, it's because they figured that machine needs blood. They're like, the machine's dry. It's got to have more.
There needs to be blood, and when there's not blood going into it, well, that's actually never happened. But
it's never happened. Well, we'll never find out what would happen. And the thing about the blood machine, all of that's sort of preamble. The real thing about the blood machine that you have to understand, and this is
not capitalism. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing, and it's going to get the blood. Like there's no question mark at the end of the sentence. Like, it's getting blood. It's going to happen. That's why it's called. That's why it's called the blood machine. That's why we put it in the name, because it gets the blood every time.
Yes, it's very successful. It always gets what it wants. So, previously, in the before times of last week, these entities, the toilet and the blood machine, were separate. However, there has been a horrible mix-up where some of the blood is now leaking into the toilet. In fact, all the water of the toilet has been replaced with blood.
There's blood in the toilet, folks. I stuck my head in there earlier today, and it was like Halloween down there. There were ghouls and goblins.
So obviously, the boosting of the verified check marks on Twitter has pushed like dumb posts to the top already. That has been the case for that's already happened.
Elon has been awful for the toilet since the beginning, since before he even owned the toilet. He's just like, whenever you would lick a big lick of toilet water and look up and see him across the bowl, you'd go like, ugh, because when he would lick, like a bunch of backwash would come out. It'd be very bad. But like, he's owned the toilet. He's been bad for the toilet. But like the checky, like when he actually did what he long threatened and made the blue check purchasers be prioritized and bumped to the top of every post.
That's when the blood got in the toilet.
When he took it over, I'm like, Twitter's done for pretty soon, and I thought it would be because he fired all the engineers and it would break. No, I was wrong about that. I was wrong about the specifics, but I was right about the general part, which is that Twitter's going to break very soon, and this is it. Like, this is it.
Yeah, it's not like a wonderful experience to see raving lunatics at the top of everything, or like Bitcoin boosterisms. Like, if it's not someone calling for blood, it's like someone in the family of a crypto scam guy, and that's just like under everything now.
And those are also, to be clear, all these grifts are just blood. Like, what is a grift? What is a crypto grift trying to do? It's trying to take money from a rube and ruin their life for the enrichment of the scammer. What's that? What is that called? That's called bringing blood to the blood machine.
You're also forgetting a second blood vector of the Bitcoin shit, which is that it cooks the planet.
It cooks the planet. They love that. You might think that that's like a downside, but like your boners get humongous because that's free blood. That's double blood. It's, you know how it is? It's like how we talk about how gay guys get so smart because cum makes your brain smart, and then they have like a closed loop of cum with no waste.
Correct. They're completely green.
Usually if you try to get horny and bust, you lose cum. They don't. Same thing with the cooking the planet, but for blood instead of cum. There's no such thing as a cum machine. That would be a metaphor. That would just be like...
That would actually be much worse, though, than the blood machine.
It would, yeah, so thank God it doesn't exist. No one out there invented. So it turns out that the kind of person who gets nobody looking at or responding to their thoughts, yet who thinks their thoughts are so important that everyone should be required to see them, well, it turns out that that's the kind of person who's extremely likely to be a Halloween ghoul who loves blood and constantly shrieks a horrible spell right at your fucking ear.
Under every tweet, it was like a sudden change happened. One day, everyone was just talking like Reddit. Everyone is doing complete sentences with the right punctuation. That's like a very common thing I'm seeing with the people who have bought the check. They like the real punctuation, which is not what posting is about.
They don't have any juice comedically. They don't know how to be funny. If they knew how to be funny, they wouldn't need to buy Reach. Like, come on. Saying words wrong is so funny.
It is. And like, in any substantial enough thread, like if a tweet has enough replies, it eventually ends up like devolving into like the non-Chekies just yelling at the Chekies and back and forth. Like, there's very much like a just a big line down the middle of the internet now.
Yeah. I mean, there was always that line in the sense that there were always freaks on Twitter, and you would always see them. However, the experience was not the same, because what would happen is you'd see a big post, maybe you'd see some outrage bait, you'd see that like, oh, fucking Ben Shapiro said some stupid shit, and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see the slams. And you would click on it, and the first one would be an epic slam from like Lib Crusher, and then there'd be someone like Candace Owens being like, great one, Ben, and then there'd be like another epic slam from Jeff Tiedrick, and it would like go back and forth, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't know for sure what you were going to see, which is kind of the fun of Twitter, because it's like a game, because like that's why you put your head in the toilet. And like, am I going to get a fucking turd in my mouth? I don't know.
There's suspense, and also there is the joy of dunking your head at the same time someone else dunks their head, and you make eye contact underwater, which is when you go into the replies and you see someone has already made a joke, and you're like, thank you. Okay, you did that.
Yes. But now, like, dude, like, the system is rigged against against the health of your brain. Like, it is designed to fuck you. Because now, everyone who has bought a blue check, which, as we've determined, is exclusively the most brain-damaged, asocial freaks on the planet, are going to be the first people you see, and there's going to be 50 of them. So, like, I am okay with seeing some of the worst takes of my life if there are epic slams in the middle of them. But now there just aren't.
You like the worst posts ever if they're part of the potpourri, right? If it's like an element, not the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like how like oldie time perfume had to have like whale stink in it. And it's like the stink makes the good parts smell even gooder if you use a tiny bit of whale stink. But like now it's
if you were lying to me, I'm believing it.
Yeah, dude, that's ambergris. There was a Bob's Burgers episode about it.
Oh.
And Joe, there was a news story. I mean, seeing the blue checkies say their evil shit, they all hate woke. They all hate woke so much. I mean, it's the standard evil-brained fuckery.
Elon actually tweeted the woke is a lie. Like, he actually did that.
Yeah, I think there was a breaking point for both of us lately where a news item occurred, a truly grim, like, soul-shattering news item, which would be bad enough on its own. But then, you see the howling ape chorus of the blue checkies weighing in with their opinion. Joe, what was that news item?
So we're recording this on May 4th. So yesterday, a man named Jordan Neely was being kind of loud on the train, and what happened is a former Marine on the train, put him in a chokehold until he died. And everyone just watched it happen. Like,
yep.
The train continued.
You know how there's the Kitty Genovese story about, like, there was a murder and everybody saw, but no one did anything. And then someone's like, actually, that's a myth. That didn't happen. That's a myth. Well, now they don't need to tell that myth anymore because it happened for real.
Yeah. So obviously, just like that event and the math there is if, like, oh, you're disruptive, that's punishable by death. Like, that's fine. So that itself is hard to swallow. The problem is that all those blue check people are all, like, tech fascists. And they just see the homeless as, like, something that needs to be purged.
Mm-hmm. They see crime as... You know, what is crime? Let me define crime. Crime is when you violate a law. That is all it fucking is.
Yeah.
Like, if I made a law that, like, having fucking red hair was against the law, every redhead is crime. Like, that doesn't make it good or bad. But it just is. That's what crime is. Like, we have to acknowledge this, fucking folks. That's all it is. To these fucking freaks, these blue check freaks, crime is just bad. It's the same as woke. It's bad. Like, badness. Crime is when there's bad. So, like, I'm tough on crime. That means I'm tough on bad. You know? We need to stop crime. We need to stop the stuff that I don't like because it's bad. And what are some things that are bad?
Being loud on the subway. Yeah. Being black and loud on the subway.
Being homeless, especially. All these things are bad, and thus, that if you're doing those things, you are crime. Like, you are crime. Like, that it's in your meat. Like, it's in your body that you're crime. And so, I hate crime. Kill crime. And, like, that's their whole... Like, one of the things that I love when they say is, like, oh, I'm sorry, do I not have a right to feel safe on the subway? Like, what am I supposed to do?
When someone's like, I have a right to feel safe, what am I supposed to do? You have a right to be safe, yes. You can't always feel safe. Like, that statement is like, from the time you leave the house to the time you get home, you encounter nothing that puts you at unease.
Also, how the fuck should I know how you feel?
Yeah, correctly. Yes.
Like, you can feel any type of way. That doesn't make a difference. As they are so fucking fond of saying, facts don't care about your feelings.
I've had one threatening sort of situation on public transportation, which was I was waiting for, I think I was we saw a movie at the Landmark and we're waiting for the bus, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "You got any smokes?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "I bet you smoke pole." And I was like, "Whoa." And then I started laughing, and he took that as offensive, and he just started pacing around me and saying, "I was in Cook County Jail. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care." And
it's like, dude, it was just a really good joke structure. It was immaculate, sir.
Yeah, and then he went to the other side of the street and just yelled shit at me as we waited, and obviously I didn't feel good about that, but I didn't want anyone to be deleted.
Yeah. I have been on the train where there is a loud person acting erratically, walking back and forth, getting in people's faces. You just sort of look down, don't engage, and go on another car. Kind of hope he goes away. And the thing, the thing that I can't stand is that these blue check freaks are actually, it's been revealed that he had been arrested before and had a warrant and had yelled in the past.
They all sound like the bug guy from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Holy shit! Oops, all bug guy. So if you're not watching or listening to our Yu-Gi-Oh! Patreon exclusive series, there's a bug kid in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who talks like this and is an absolute little fucking asshole. And that's you go on Twitter now and that's the only person around.
Yes.
God, and they love that they fucking killed the guy. And the thing is, I don't care what his fucking record was, because there's no chance the murdering strangler knew that. And even if he did, murder's not legal if the guy was really bad. It's just not. But these people, they do not see it that way. They explicitly love that this happened. That this is actually a long time coming. Because again, that's the thing. They always say, "What are we supposed to do? Our cities are getting like this. What are we supposed to do?" Just
first of all, a lot of the people who are like, "What are we supposed to do? Our cities are getting like this." They're never going to a fucking city.
Yes.
The other thing is, it wasn't just the blue check saying this. Both the New York Post and the New York Times essentially ran the same headline with a deranged sentence structure that was like, "The spirit of a chokehold entered this man while a Marine was there." Anyway, yeah.
A choking and a vagrant was being very scary and disorderly, and then a neck-related incident occurred in which Brain did not live.
At a very fundamental level, the thing that drives me nuts about this whole thing, it's regardless of whatever contextual facts you point to, how can you look at this as a reasonable escalation ever?
You have to be an unreasonable person. You have to, again, think that the body that this person lives in is constructed of crime. It's like I think you should leave sketch where it's just the cops said he wasn't a guy. It didn't count. That guy didn't count.
It turns out the cops say that a lot.
Yeah. If you are a thoughtless, hateful person, which if you are, likely you have bought a blue check. If you're a thoughtless, hateful person, you see this person, he is a symptom of two things. He's a symptom of crime, and he's a symptom of woke. Because it's because the woke liberals are in power in these cities that they allow things to get this bad, because they know they would get in trouble from the trans for not being woke enough if they didn't let people be homeless. And they all think that that's totally true. I love when they're like, honey, you're complaining about the homeless people not being taken care of and are being brutalized. Well, it was the policies that you voted for that made there be so many homeless people. I'm like, there's not one fucking thing happening in Chicago that I voted for. I've only ever voted against in my life. But yeah, the point being, it's a reasonable escalation if you think that this guy is not a human being, but is in fact living crime woke.
A crime elemental.
Yes, exactly. I mean, to look no further, the whole thing about like I have a right to be safe on the subway. You know who I guarantee feels less safe all the time than you ever do? Fucking Jordan Neely. In fact, I can prove he was unsafe because he got killed.
Yes. Jesus.
The least safe person on the train by a large margin.
Someone had to do something is also a fascist impulse, though. It's like the argument that it's like we don't have time to assess the situation. We need to act decisively and now. And decisively for those sorts of people either means like jailing or killing people.
Yeah. It's the only two things that they like. I saw a post that was like, you know what just happened in New York on the subway is almost identical to what Michelle Tandler was calling for in San Francisco. Like, there's so many scary homeless people. Why are the men of San Francisco so cowardly? Why can they not do what must be done? And I was like, wow, I wonder if this guy has any short story collections set in a spooky hotel. It was Rick Paulus, the guy who sells that book everywhere. Good point, Rick.
I really respect him because he grinds. He's in the replies always, and I hope he's going to be in the Blue Sky replies.
Yeah. But just like, again, that fucking... that rhetoric that Tandler uses. Again, it's just like
we revisited this because you were like, "This is what she was talking about." But I was like, "Wasn't she talking about the police doing it?" And you're like, "No, dude, she wasn't. She said the men of San Francisco," and you were right. Yeah. And like that's like literally what she's describing.
And that sort of rhetoric is very like they don't seem to understand that. Like, don't you know that the crime elementals that are like the problem that you have to find a final solution for, like, they are also men of San Francisco. Like, you're like, why can't we feel safe? It's like, you know that they're in the group of people that get to feel safe too, right? Like, don't you get it?
You're saying only my part is the real part that is like rules and laws apply.
And it's a gross little group. And You'd hope it's a vocal minority, but you can't really tell anymore because it's the only people on the site.
So let's say you use Twitter, but you're not really like following anything about the platform changes or whatever.
Yeah, you're not a super user like us idiots.
You might not notice that everyone is insane under all the posts now. You might just be like, oh, I guess this is the average opinion.
Yeah.
And that is an intended effect, I'm sure. The other element of this, too, is, like, fundamentally, the people who bought the checkmark are the people who like Elon. So it's a choice to make sure that your shooters are at the top under every post.
It's really gross. I mean, like, it's not for nothing that Elon has lurched extremely hard right. Because, like... It's just the thing that to do if you're a thoughtless hack who wants to have a group that is ride or die for you. It's just like, well, I'm gonna be evil. Yeah, and all my evil friends get special treatment, and yeah, that'll be great. I love. Oh my god, this is so fun. I mean, this doesn't happen so much anymore because the blue checkies have sort of settled into their role as just like Satans, like little Satans. Who speak evil words constantly and
sometimes they
harm
respond to each other in ways that makes me think they can't read, though.
Yeah. But what they used to do was be like, I paid for this blue check. How come I'm not getting more likes? And it's like, you're getting more views.
Yeah.
Why are you not getting more likes? Like, well, that might be a you problem, fucker.
It fundamentally comes down to I deserve to be more popular.
Yeah.
Something I think, but I don't like pay dollars about it. Can we talk about fear for a little bit? I want to talk about fear.
Why are you talking about fear? How do you mean?
So the other news item that is less explicitly scary that happened was there was some weather guy in Texas.
Who fucking iWeatherNet
on Facebook. Basically did a post that was like, hey, I saw a little girl come up to and ring the doorbell because she was looking for her cat. You can't be doing that in 2023. I had my hand in my gun and everything. So he was just like, I was ready to blow away whoever came to my door. It doesn't matter if it's a girl.
I love that, actually, if I recall correctly, and I'm not going to look it up because I don't care to, because it's very upsetting. The way he framed it was like, I heard someone ring my doorbell and I fucking went nuts, and I was on the trigger. I was like, fuck, time to kill, time to murder, my man. And like, it was only later that he was like, it was a little girl trying to find her kitten. Like, it didn't start with that. It's like, it was a girl trying to find her kitten, but that's not fucking germane to my point here, which is don't ring my fucking doorbell because I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, if you ring my doorbell, you have fulfilled parameters that you didn't know existed, but you did, and now you're going to die.
I actually have a special disease where the sound of a doorbell makes me fear for my life, so it's actually legal for me to do this.
I just don't understand, because in order to live like that, you have to be scared all the time.
Yes.
All the time. And the thing I can't shake, if we can just go and put things back in just the basis schoolyard terms. When I was growing up, being scared of everything made you look like a pussy and people made fun of you.
Okay, so Joe, that's true, but we have to, I think it'll be clearer when we take these other things into account. So yes, being terrified constantly is loser behavior. And I think even they would agree that you lose a lot of coolness points. Let's say we're negative 100 coolness points when you're being a fucking terrified freak. Now, let's take into account this next part, which is the reason you're terrified of everything is because of all the woke. Mm-hmm. Wokeness is corrupting people, and also it is making there be homeless people who you hate.
It actually spawns them. Like they just come out of the ground.
Because the Democrats are woke. Woke is bad. Crime is bad. Homeless is crime. It's all, like, straight up. They, like, if you vote for a Democrat, you are basically, like, in Harvest Moon planting a homeless person's seed and, like, putting fertilizer on it. Like, it's the same. It's like, so the only reason anything bad and scary exists is because of woke. So hating woke is cool. So that's like plus 50 coolness points. So we're now down to only negative 50. And because you're so scared, the thing that you're now willing to do is being an eager murderer at any moment. At the drop of a hat, you will end a human life, and it'll be so fucking easy for you. You won't hesitate for a second. You will fucking kill. Now, that's like 200 coolness points.
Yeah, so to me, that's not cool, but I'm not the one determining coolness.
I mean, in their eyes, that is the coolest thing you can do, because that's what cops do. They're awesome. The reason cops who are cool and awesome, the reason they're so badass is because of all the murdering they do. And they don't even care. They don't even feel anything when they do it. And I'm not going to either when I do it, because I don't actually think that person's a human. I think they're crime. And they could be anywhere. So don't ring my doorbell. That's the funniest thing. It's like, doorbell is literally like, what do you think it's for, buddy?
Right. If you were going to live in a state of paranoia like that, where your gun's ready to go at any doorbell press, I suggest you remove the doorbell.
Yes. Like, I mean, there was a whole rash of stories of people like doing extremely innocent things and then getting shot for it, like going to an identical car to yours and opening the door and being like, "Oh, this is my car. My apologies," and like someone's in it, and then that guy just shoots you.
Yeah.
Or like, "Oh, I need to do a U-turn. Let me just let me put my two tires onto this driveway so I can do a U-turn." And it's like, how dare you be on my property, shoot. It's just like, and again, it's one of those things, it's like, it could be that this is just, something that's always happening at the same rate, but it's just getting reported on because, it's a hot angle and people are trying to copy it. So like, we need our version of that. But the thing is, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking ape. When I see a lot of things, I assume there's a lot of them. Even should I see things many times, I'm like, there must be lot of this. And it's especially bad when I'm like, there must be lot of this. And I look underneath and it's all apes being like, I would do that too. I would do that too. I love killing. It's what they deserve. Why don't you simply be a responsible person and not do that? Then you won't get what's coming to you. And everyone's like, so wise, sir, because they're also blue checkies talking to fuck themselves. It makes me fucking furious.
And because we only see a certain type of poster underneath everything, I know that anytime there's anything related to AI, there's like 10 blue checkies that are just like so excited about how many jobs are going to get removed from the world.
It's very funny that is like the value proposition to them, is that like, why is AI good? Because it will punish people, because it will remove people.
Yeah, it's going to make sure only the true valuable people remain, which they are one of.
Yeah, this is not something I'm going to dwell too much on, but I just think it's very funny every time. Whenever they, like, try to actually defend themselves against, like, rebuttals, because there's no defense. But when they try and they have the stupidest possible justifications, and one of them is like, well, actually, coming up with a good prompt is a skill. No, it's fucking not. Like, I'm going to be a professional asker. My great skills of asking make me an artist and creator. Fuck you.
I think I can insert my rambling series of messages I put to you in one of our various communication channels, which is, look, when you make a piece of art, like, regardless if it's good or not, you can, like, point to aspects of it and explain your choice. Like I suck at painting, but this is why I did it like this, you know?
Yes, yeah.
If you're doing fucking AI shit, you can't point to anything. You don't know how this thing was made. You can't be like, oh, I did this because of whatever. All you did is, like, put a prompt into a black box, and then it spits something out.
You asked. Yeah, it's asking.
Yeah, it's a Zoltar machine.
You know, it's kind of like I don't want to spoil much, but for the secret project, we commissioned art. And what that involves is I asked an artist to make something, and then they did it. And I would, like, have feedback. I'm like, can you change this, tweak this? I would never in 1,000 fucking years insinuate that I had anything to do with the creation of the art. The art is solely the artist's doing. I asked them to do it in a way, but it's not mine.
Yeah.
In any stretch of the imagination. So when you're making so to say that writing a prompt is a fucking skill, ooh, it makes me so mad. But okay, so these fuckers, they love AI, and they love it specifically because it is a way for real artists and real fucking writers to no longer have a job. There was this stupid video going around called The Great Gatsby, but the guy who made it thought that Gatsby was Gatsby. So when he changed Gatsby to Catsby to be about cats, the AI voice that was reading the script read that as The Great Cat Spy. And I'm just like, you didn't catch that and edit. But anyway, so they put this big fucking awful trailer that looks like shit. Everyone is like shaking and like pulsing. You know how AI guys always shake and pulse? Everyone is shaking.
There's so many teeth. Everyone has too many teeth.
Everyone has too many teeth. Oh, and this is all especially funny because since it's The Great Gatsby is specifically based on the Baz Luhrmann version, everyone is holding glittering like martinis and clinking them with each other, which means there's a lot of visible hands in like unusual shape. Like holding stemware means you have to hold your hand in a weird, unusual shape. So and they're all holding up to the camera. So it's like, please look at the worst part. They're showing off
their tentacles.
Yeah. This motherfucker was like, fuck off, Hollywood. No camera crews, no script writers, no directors. This is the future. And it's just like, to me, if I were writing, like, if I was just begin a sentence the way they do, which is, this AI is going to totally replace artists and writers, what I would then do is I would write, comma, so what we have to do to prevent that is...
Yeah.
They just like I mean, this is the same kind of thing. This is blood stewardry. This is bringing blood to the blood machine. It is not quite as voluminous in the amount of blood as straight up killing people, like Jordan Neely and all these people who are begging someone to step on their lawn so they can murder them. But it is still, I mean, it is human annihilating. It is destroying the presence of human beings and crushing the possibility of human life.
It's anti-life. It's anti-spiral.
Yes, it is.
It's just like excited at the prospect of like something going away for something you don't do.
Yes. It is celebrating that the possibility space in a given day for every human being on Earth is now smaller. There are now fewer things to do.
And you love that because the remaining things you think are better, more important.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
If we can go back to the Great Gatsby thing for a second.
Yeah.
The other element of this, the post that's like, look out Hollywood. Like, what are they... The person who posted that is revealing that they think that's good? And it's like they would like watch a movie that looked like this.
Yes, they do. Because, this is very important. These blue check freaks who go to take the blood, the only thing they care about is getting blood to the blood machine. And now it's the blood's in the toilet, and we have to drink it, and it's awful, and I hate it. That's the only thing that they care about. They do not give a shit about, like, art and whether or not it's good. That is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with blood. It doesn't matter. Art is just, like, I mean, for all the, everything, every time they talk about film, writing, novels, fuck anything, you can just replace it with birdseed. Make it so that they're talking about birdseed. And it's this, and it's the same. Like, they wouldn't change their fucking logic at all. It's like, watch out, birdseed makers. You can make birdseed real cheap with this machine now. And it's like, the only thing birdseed is good for is selling it. So, if you can make birdseed cheaper, that is an unambiguous good. If you can get rid of those pesky birdseed makers unions, that would be fucking gorgeous. Like, the fact that, like, this birdseed actually has too much millet. They don't care. Why would I give a fuck? It's like, actually, if you look at this birdseed, it's woefully low in iron. Who cares? It doesn't matter to them. It's just like, fucking finally we can crush humanity a little more. That's the thing that's so disgusting. It's like the way that they're so gleeful about the end of art as a human experience.
Yeah, they're like, you're just rooting for the void. At that point, you are.
Yes. It is like, what do they want to have happen? They want there to be no art. No one can make art, and any art that does exist is pap that does not reflect any experiences and does not allow the viewer to reflect on what it means to be alive and their life. It does not give them any enrichment. They don't want there to be any art. They also don't want it to be so that if you do not act in the way they like, you get killed immediately and do not go to jail. You actually become Kyle Rittenhouse and you get paid money to hold up a fucking container of brain vitamins for InfoWars or whatever.
The media tour for the guy who did the murder is a big concern of mine. I don't know if it's going to be a guy who just, because they didn't charge him with anything. He just left. Yeah. I don't know if he will just be gone, or we're going to see something like a Kyle Rittenhouse tour, which would be obviously like so beyond the pale.
It'd be really bad.
It would be.
But like, the fact is, even if it doesn't happen, the demand is there. Like, if he went on a fucking press tour, all you got to do is open up any one of these fucking threads on Twitter, and you will see that there are audiences. There is someone who will fill the stadium who is in their eyes the subway hero, because there was crime on the subway and he killed the crime. So
what this is, when we were talking about all the success wind in a previous episode, I don't remember which number, but we basically made fun of all the homework podcasts.
Yeah.
A common feature of them is that they will bring on like a Marine who teaches killology, and his proximity to death gives him authority. Mm-hmm. And this is all just death worshiping. It's like they will see this guy as the hero because he got close to death. He caused it.
Yeah.
He wielded it. He got to decide who lives and dies, which I guess this is the entire purpose of America.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what art is. That's what makes art so important, because art is about life. Just using your life experience to create something new. The purpose of creating it is because you feel like it is important to you, which is something that you've decided to use your life for. And I mean, obviously making money off of it is a concern, but like generally people who make art are not doing it exclusively for that. Obviously exceptions. But like, because of this, because it is sort of a pro-life experience, it is about appreciating your life and the world around you and creating something new that expresses that. That is unfucking acceptable, and it has to be ground out of existence by capital and by fucking AI so that it can never happen again. I mean, consider also that during all this fucking time, like, the only video game site left, Waypoint, is getting shut down because, well, you know why. It's the only reason any website gets shut down. It's because it's owned by VC people who ask for exponential growth, and they can't provide that because it's a website.
Have they ever gotten it with the publisher? Like, when they buy a publication, have they ever gotten that exponential growth that they want? Because
no.
It seems like it's never happened, because everything gets fucking shut down.
Okay, so I know you don't want Succession. I'm not going to get too much into it. I will say again, it is by the writer of Peep Show, so that's why it's so fucking good. Like, the things about Succession that make it good are the same things that are there in Peep Show. But part of what makes Succession so good is that most of the time they're sort of like squabbling about personal stuff. You know, it's just like jousting over status and whatnot. Very, very rarely do they actually get to the business of being, you know, of like working in the media company that their family owns, like actually doing the work
and actual input.
Yes. And when they do it, Joe, they are all like brain meltingly stupid and so bad at it. And they all like, yet when they talk about like, we need to create a vertical, like a new publication, and like when they talk about what they think it's going to do, like they do think that there's going to be exponential growth, because they're just, like, they don't understand that, like, no, like, people, like, a website, the best a website's going to get is it's going to get a dedicated fan base of readers who are excited to read it. That's it. Like, what do you fucking want?
Happiness, friendship, community expression. All of these things are good, which is why we have to structure society in a way to make sure the wrong people never get it.
I mean, that's the Blood Stewards in a nutshell. Like, this is one of the things I was thinking about. I mean, pretty much every single word I've said now, because we're recording this, we started at 5. I had therapy at 4. Every single word I'm saying for the second time today. Like, I think to myself, like, what is the point of being alive, huh? Like, legitimately, in a real sense, like, why do I not take a bunch of Tylenols? Like, why do I get up in the morning? Like, this is not a metaphor. Like, what are the things? Like, what is the reason that I continue being alive for another day?
Your job, for sure.
No, fuck you. Happiness, friendship and community, and expression. I get to feel joy. I get to experience people I love and care about. And I get to create something based on my creative expression. You know, I get to make art, such as it is. Like, that is why, in a very real sense, those are the reasons why I keep being an awake guy in the morning. They, like, literally, they want to take that all away.
That's the part they want to remove. They're like, that, we have to carve out that specifically.
Like, happiness, no, replace that with fear and hatred. Friendship and community, well, if you're scared and full of hatred, you can't have that shit. You're gonna shoot everyone who comes near you. An expression, that's stupid. That's not going to make you any money, you idiot. We gave you a bad contract after the writer's strike. We hate you. And AI is going to do it, you fucker. And, like, they just, like, I just can't imagine the type of human being that is excited to take those things away. Except, actually, I don't have to imagine them anymore. I see them every single time I log on, and exclusively them as well.
Yeah, you've been blocking people for a while. I decided I would not block because I wanted to like be with the turds and like really experience the like. I wanted to raw dog it.
This is Kanye being like, I'm not taking my meds because it makes me less creative. And like, you gotta take your meds, Kanye. No, you gotta do it. You're gonna say Nazi shit, Kanye.
And after the Subway choke murder, I really regret that. I wish I would have put in the work to maybe block some of those ahead of time.
Yeah, it doesn't work, dude. Every once in a while, someone will be like gold mine of people to block, and like quote some tweet that has a bunch of insane freaks saying the most evil shit in the world underneath it, and I'll go and I'll block like 50 people. But I think they must be like having meetings where they like squad up, and like everyone like a different squads get assigned different.
They airdrop in different topics. It's like okay, you're on woke. Your cryptocurrency, your Chicago.
Yeah, Easy Company gets dropped in to like a specific post, and they all start speaking the fucking black tongue of Mordor and let Satan speak through them. And they say things that make me feel very unhappy. And I block them all, and I go to a next post, and it's like, oh no, this isn't Easy Company, this is D Company. They're completely different. There's no overlap. Like
their kits are completely different.
I block and I block and I block, and there's just always more. And that's like, again, it could be that all this shit we're moaning about is like 100,000 guys tops, and this is not a very common way of thinking at all. However,
it makes me feel like I'm the only person that thinks the murder wasn't good. Like, it really does. And I know intellectually that's not true. But, like, it just, like, on, like, an emotional level, it makes me feel like I'm standing in a crowd of, like, blood-hungry morons.
I mean, let's go back to our initial metaphor. We dunk our heads in the toilet, as usual, expecting water. And it's full of blood. And, like, oh no. Like, maybe there's not that much blood around, but, like, the toilet is full of blood. Like, that's true. Like, we're exposing ourselves to that by using this awful... Like, I think that I will have to make a concentrated effort to not fucking look at this stupid app more, which just sucks because
you told me to log out today, which I loved, and you were right. You were right, but also you're replying. I can tell you're like not stronger than me.
Oh, I'm so fucking weak, dude. It's awful. It is getting to me in like a real way. And like as I say, like this is our outreach tool for our fucking show. This is also like
that's another thing I keep coming back to, which is like, yeah, it's on us for putting all our eggs in one basket, but it does just suck that Twitter was our thing, like our choice.
We got to get a Blue Sky invite so bad, dude.
We'll do giant shit over there. It's not played out over there.
Yeah, people were showing us these new posts about some guy talking about the giant of Kandahar and Nephilim. And, like, everyone was retweeting it, like, big accounts. And it's like, well, we can't do... Now that the big accounts found it, it's not funny for us anymore. But if it was on Blue Sky, then it's cool again.
And they just added blocking to Blue Sky, Tom just told me, which is like a bummer because like anytime Matt Yglesias posted, people are telling him to like eat shit, egghead. Yeah, and like just that's his
crack
life.
Your fucking egghead and dip the yolk in the toilet, idiot.
I also can tell when you do your replies, like there are replies I read and I'm like, you just wanted to say KYS to this guy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like Jude, the amount of willpower, the amount of calories I burn every day not telling people to kill themselves is like insane. But on Blue Sky, I could do it. Actually, I don't think you're allowed to do it on Blue Sky. I mean, here's the real reason I want to go to Blue Sky. And people who are trying to like poo-poo Blue Sky as a possible Twitter alternative are like, I don't know why you're expecting this to be good. It's by Jack Dorsey, who is an idiot freak, as you know. He mismanaged old Twitter. He was his moderation policies were insanely bad, leaving Trump on forever despite him violating the terms of service constantly. Left fucking libs of TikTok on despite leaving everything constantly. He was a really bad at moderating.
You know what my response to that is?
What?
I don't think it's going to be good.
It's a toilet. It's a second toilet.
It's toilet classic.
Exactly. Yes. It's like, sure, Jack did a bad job with moderation and let people who broke the rules stay on if they were right wing. Well, he didn't also boost all of them to the top automatically.
This has like changed the content of the site dramatically. It is even worse for brain health to look at it.
Like Gab and Truth Social are sites where like every single post is satanic and evil because it's like, hello, we are the Satan site. Only join if you love Satan. Twitter has a lot of people who do not love Satan, but you'd never fucking know. You'd never fucking know. The minority of Satan lovers are fucking dumping buckets of blood into the toilet. Now the toilet's full of blood and it's tainted and it is different now. There is blood in the toilet. And there's another toilet over there that's exactly identical. I'm not saying it's good. It's still a toilet, but the toilet doesn't have blood in it.
And it's got that old toilet taste.
It does have the old toilet taste. And you might say, well, actually, with the, if they don't change, if they use the same sort of moderation policies that Jack was using before, it doesn't actually matter because eventually it's going to end up being the same old thing. It's going to go bad in the same way it did last time. Okay, I'll deal with that when that happens.
Well, it'll be a nice ride until that happens. And also, I'm not saying Jack won't make stupid choices. I don't think he's going to implement paid badges and boost those people.
Yeah.
That will not be a design choice.
I mean, if for no other reason than like, in terms of like the social cachet, I think it's very clear to everyone that the blue check means I'm a fucking idiot nerd. Like, I'm the dumbest cuck on earth.
You want to talk about a symbol changing very quickly. Yeah. It went from, this is actually a newspaper to just like, this guy wants AI to replace every job.
Yeah. I mean, it was very funny that if 1 month ago, if you said Checky in a derogatory way, it was like, oh, you mean a fucking shit lib mid-tier journalist in New York who's constantly talking about their bodega and as though they are like the last defender of democracy. 1 month later, you say Checky, and it's like, oh, you mean someone who wants to kill all humans.
It sucks that Chud got used for the MAGA people because I feel like Chud would have been more appropriate here.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck these guys. Anyway, is there anything left to say? This was one of them classic moaning and complaining episodes.
The machine doesn't want you to complain.
The machine, yeah. Complaining renders there no blood. Suffering renders blood. Complaining is like a blood neutral activity, and it's very frustrating. The stewards are like holding their buckets, being like, is blood going to come out? And it's like, oh no, I'm just going on and on.
Is it Blue Sky or Blue Ski? I want to call it Blue Ski.
Blue Ski. It's Blue Ski and you skeet.
It's Blue Ski and you ski. I like it because it's Polish now.
Bruski. They made a Polish. Oh, Joe, you just reminded me of the Polish buffet that used to be near my apartment. We went there one time and it fucking closed. It's the goodest shit.
Not because of us. We didn't eat everything, and the woman who owned it was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's over.
You ate all the food. I just cooked one helping. It's been lasting a very long time, but you ate the last of it. It's very funny that there's this old style, like classic Polish buffet. It looks very retro inside. It was great, cheap, and we loved it. And it closed down. And then like the next day, almost right after, they opened up Avondale Bowl, an old style bowling alley. And me and Kevin were like, let's go to Avondale Bowl. And we go up there. It's got like 4 bowling alleys, and we're like, how long until an alley's free? And they're like 3 hours. And
this was like the last outing before the virus hit.
Yes. And like, of the people there, I believe something like 75% of them were wearing that bright orange beanie that's like very tall. You know the one that's like goes up like another head height after your head ends. So there's a lot of those bright orange beanies. And we sat there and had one drink, and Kevin told us about Rainbow Six Siege, and then we left.
I had him explain all the classes to me.
And I just have to say, how can anyone think that the neighborhood has improved by trading that business for the other? It did.
A beer was like $20.
Like, I don't know if 3 hours was the wait for the fucking lane, but I do remember when the guy told me how long the wait for a lane would be. I thought, like, I had like a cartoon reaction. Like, are you gagging? Like, are you doing a prank? Are you like doing an exaggeration?
Are you goofing me?
Like when I see something that's 1,000% better than something else, it's like, that's a gag. You exaggerated, motherfucker. There's a lot of people who are trying to make the world worse. Why not make it better? That's my... I would do that. Personally, me, if I was doing that, I'd make it better.
If I was in charge, I would do 2 things. Good things and popular things.
Hell yeah.
That's all I would need to do.
I would address the problems. Mm-hmm. I would fix the problems.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
This gives me a flashback to 2016 about that Hillary Clinton's plan for defeating ISIS. It was like, step 1, find ISIS. Step 2, defeat ISIS. Step 3, ISIS is gone.
I mean, she's right.
She's right.
That would work. If you actually implemented those 3 steps, game over for ISIS. I mean, we talked about this at length, but I want one more time before we go. Just how evil, because it's easy to get overshadowed by the murdering, but how evil it is to just hate art on principle. Like, it is one of the things that make human beings humans. It is like one of the things that has been a constant in our species since we fucking started. And the idea that people are excited to get rid of it is so fucking sickening. Like, and this is even in a culture that is already like starved for art. Case in point, we both went to the ballet recently, specifically because I realized like they do ballets here. Like, I live in a city where they do ballets. Like, no one fucking does. Like, what is ballet? That is all like
the Fraser activities are downtown.
Like, yeah, like no one, like all these Fraser activities are fucking relics. Dude, there's like classical music, orchestras, ballet, opera. There is zero popular appeal for any of this shit. These types of art used to be mega hits that would be talked about across the land, and now they are fucking fossils. And I just went because I'm like, I guess I should give it a try because it's rare to have the opportunity, and I should take advantage of it. And would you believe it? Dance and art is really compelling.
It is.
Like, I just went my whole fucking life not looking at any of that shit because why would I? Because the world does not want me to care about art. I
was also there at the ballet. We went to the same show.
It was pretty good. I had a good time.
It was The Little Mermaid, which is different than the Disney one because it's much sadder. Like, basically,
it's the goth version.
It's the goth version. Basically, she becomes a person, and then everything fucking sucks, and it doesn't get better, and everyone's like, "You're a freak," and then it's over.
The part that I thought was hilarious. So she turns into a human to try to woo the prince, but instead he falls in love with some other girl, and that would be tragic enough. But for some reason, they make her a bridesmaid in the wedding. I'm like, what? How do you know them well enough to get that spot? I mean, obviously,
just showed up.
She has to be there in the scene, otherwise there's nothing to portray. But whatever. I mean, yeah. The point being, like, there are very like the art that we have left, like music, fucking writing, and like TV and movies. Like, that's pretty much it. That's all that like is there in a real mass market sense, and they're trying to take that shit away. I don't like it. Don't do it. Fuck AI. We were going to do an AI episode where we would have the AI be us and talk in our voices. But then two things happened. The person we were going to ask to do it was like, I'm going to do some other shit. And then I lost interest. So we're not doing that.
Yeah. And, I mean, we just hate it. Like, it's clearly going to be used for the stupidest shit possible. And people say, oh, it's going to replace writers. No, what's going to happen is writing will become a job where you fix the shit the robot put out to make it, like, doable. Anyone talking about, like, the AI, like it's John Swartzwelder and it's going to just crank out an episode start to finish, ready to go, nothing needed, is a moron. But they're out there and they're, like, the loudest people.
I love how they're all like, well, maybe when they present this shit, it's like, look at this. Writers are done, and then someone points out, look at all these fucking problems. It's actually quite bad. And then they're like, well, actually, in a year, it'll be perfect. It's like, then why didn't you guys wait a year until you fucking did your big press tour? Why did you start now when it's still bad?
There's a similar post about It's So Over, but it was for women, and it showed, like, the most, like, gratuitously, like, boobified Asian swimsuit models that had, again, like, too many teeth or, like, weird fingers. Or if you, like, look closely, you realize that the arm on the shoulder of the girl all the way to the right is actually the arm of the girl further on the left. So that means her arm is what?
I also love the implication that, like, the only thing that women want is to be able to be in booby pictures. Like, if you don't need a real life woman for a booby picture, like, they're done. It's like, I don't think you're making a correct observation about the priorities that most women have. Fucking Christ. There's something else I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was. Let me try to remember.
It was a joke I had. We need to find a home for it, but the idea that, like, the year is like 1,000 years from now, and AI has taken over most of life, but it still can't do teeth and hands that good. So as a society, everyone is just like, yeah, it's fine, just don't bring it up.
I mean, you know what it is going to be? It's going to be like David Foster Wallace, fucking Infinite Jest, how people would wear masks on the video calls because they were too self-conscious about their faces. People are just going to buy, like, gloves that have fucked up fingers. And they're going to, like, buy veneers that have, like, 50 teeth on each row.
He's talking about VTubers. He doesn't know this, but he is.
It's very funny how Infinite Jest has a lot of things that are very prescient and forward-thinking and, like, predicted how bad shit's going to get. In the sense that, you know, every prediction that we make that's right is because we think, what's the dumbest and most cruel thing that could happen?
Yeah.
And then we think it up, and then they do it because the machine needs to get blood.
What do the sickos think? The sickos think, it'll probably get worse. The sickos are right again.
But there's all that shit that he predicted, but then he also predicted that we're still going to be watching VHS tapes.
I wish. I do regret, and I don't mean getting rid of VHS, but, like, I don't have any physical media because I was a moron at the end of college, and I was like, streaming is the future. That was so fucking dumb, dude.
So dumb. God damn. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't even know how. I don't have a way to play discs.
I don't either.
They don't come with disc drives no more. They just don't do them. Fuck. Anyway, I think that's about time to wrap it up. My back's hurting, and also I don't think we have anything left to discuss. Mostly my back's hurting, and I need to do my press ups.
Stay offline. Anyway. It's fucking awful. Also, give us a Bluesky invite.
Yeah, how have we not gotten Bluesky invites? We're influencers of like 30 trans people.
Thoughtfluencers.
Anyway, I've been Tom, an anime sicko.
I've been Joe, an anime sicko.
I never thought I'd say it, but please log off for your health. Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at Sharia Uncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.